South Dakota State has held the Dakota marker for 2 years in a row. North Dakota State would look to reclaim that marker as they welcome their rivals to the Fargo Dome. This was the first time these two teams met up to open Missouri Valley play. As you see the team getting ready to running out of the tunnel, and there you see the Dakota marker, the trophy that the two teams play for. Pick it up right away in the first quarter. Taryn Christian hits Cade Wallace for a 3-yard touchdown pass. The Jacks would take an early 7-0 lead. On their ensuing possession, Christian drops back the pass. He thinks he has a wide open wide receiver, but Jalen Allison baits him, and he gets the pick. He's got blockers in front of him. Marquise Bridges is out there, and he's avoiding defenders and finally gets taken down from behind. He's pumped up. The Bison would take that ball and lead to this. Easton Stick, after a Darius Shepard wiped out touchdown, takes the ball and he scrambles for what was a 22-yard gain, but he probably ran for about 50 yards on that play. The Bison are still down 7-0. However, a little later in this drive, Stick fakes the handoff to Bruce Anderson and hits Ben Elfson wide open, the pride of Holly, Minnesota, for a touchdown. The Bison would tie the game at 7. Later on in the second quarter, Easton Stick drops back to pass yet again, fakes another handoff to Bruce Anderson, and hits Darius Shepard, who then puts in a foot race to the pylon as he's able to outrun the Jackrabbit defender. The Bison would go up 14-7, but Chase Vinatieri, would go on to kick a field goal to be 14-10 at the half. Later on in the third quarter, Isaac Wallace, 61-yard touchdown run. As you see there, he avoids Robbie Grimsley's arm tackle as the Jackrabbits regain the lead 17-14. Easton Stick later on in the fourth quarter, though, however, he rumbles it in for a 5-yard touchdown run, a big right arm pump. NDSU coaches are probably saying, be careful with that right arm, Easton, we need you. And there you see the players coming running after the marker, the first time they get it back in 2 years. And head coach Chris Kleiman said in his press conference that this is for the guys of like Chase Morlock.
To win the Missouri Valley, and this is the first step. And it's obviously a really good opponent, someone that's going to win a lot of football games down the road and in the conference. And so you got to win at home in the Valley. We're fortunate to do that, and we're ready to move on.
Proud of the guys for showing the resolve that they did. We didn't have a great third quarter. Give them credit. They did some really nice things. And then the fourth quarter, we did some really good things in the fourth to be able to make enough plays to be successful. So hats off to those guys. They're a great team, and it's just one.
The Bison Easton Stick was able to finish 9 of 20 for 182 yards and 3 total touchdowns. Darius Shepard was the star of the show there, 5 receptions, 118 yards, and a touchdown. And for the first time all season, the Bison are hitting the road. They will be traveling to Cedar Falls, Iowa, to take on the Panthers of Northern Iowa. The Bison come into the game averaging 448 yards, while the Panthers are giving up 348 yards. Head coach Chris Kleiman knows that this will be a difficult game going into a hostile environment.
Our communication was not very good, especially on the defensive side in the first half. They came out in a number of different looks that we have to be able to adjust to, and I don't think we did a great job of communicating what those adjustments were.
NDSU women's volleyball took on Denver last week at home. However, NDSU was unable to win, losing in 4 sets. Denver took the first 2 sets in convincing fashion with scores of 25-21 and 25-17. In the third set, the Bison were able to secure a victory in the third set with a 29-27 victory. However, the Pioneers were able to shut down the Bison rally and went on to win the fourth set 25-17. Allie Mouch finished with 9 kills and 2 assists, while Alexis Bachmeyer finished with 7 kills and 7 digs. On the Denver side of things, Becca Latham finished with a game-high 16 kills. The Bison will now travel to Macomb to face Western Illinois this Friday night, with first serve scheduled for 7 p.m. North Dakota State is putting its 2-game win streak on the line this Thursday night. They are welcoming the preseason favorite Denver Pioneers to Dakota Field this Thursday. Both of these teams are currently 2-0 in Summit League play, and the winner of this game will be tied for first place with the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Pioneers are coming into this matchup giving up less than a goal a game, while the Bison are allowing 1.5 goals a game. The Pioneers are currently leading the all-time series 5-1-1. In the last matchup, the Pioneers defeated the Bison to clinch the automatic berth into the national tournament. The MLB postseason has officially arrived, and we have had some great baseball so far, beginning with the wild card games. The American League wild card game is tonight, featuring the Oakland Athletics and the New York Yankees. The game is at 7 p.m. on TBS. The winner takes on the Boston Red Sox in the divisional round, while the Cleveland Indians and the Houston Astros will be the other divisional game. In the National League, the Rockies and the Cubs played their wild card game this past Tuesday in Chicago, and it was a long one, 5 hours, featuring 13 innings, and it featured two dominating performances by John Lester and Kyle Freeland. The two starters combined for 16 strikeouts, and the Rockies eventually won the game 2-1. The Rockies will now travel to Milwaukee to take on the Brewers on Thursday at 4:07 p.m., followed by the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves. And if you guys want to catch more of MLB playoff talk or even NDSU football talk, you can go to our YouTube page, check out X's and O's, featuring myself and Jay Lenander, where we do it live from Herd and Horns every Tuesday night.
Thanks, Eric. Stay with us after the break for this week's Bison on the Street.